$77 million in welfare money. Where did it go?
I'm the furthest thing from a racist. I think I'm a pretty good guy who cares about other people as well.
NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre is facing questions tonight of whether he knowingly took $5 million of state welfare money to build a new volleyball facility for his daughter's team 5 years ago at her university and his alma mater.
Whatever happened to, your ideas, your thoughts, your beliefs being yours and not wrong, that seems a distant past.
As this has just been unfolding, the main players of this scheme, namely Phil Bryant and Brett Favre, have sort of tried to make excuses for their involvement. I mean,
it's a shame. It's really a shame that we've come to this. But the old saying, it is what it is.
Text messages obtained by Mississippi Today show Favre saying he helped secure government grant money for a new arena. And he personally was paid more than $1 million to give 3 motivational speeches that never happened.
New text messages show the pressure former NFL quarterback Brett Favre was putting on then Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant. Favre requested money for an indoor football practice facility to help recruit a player for his college alma mater, the University of Southern Mississippi, in 2019. The funding in question from a grant program intended for low-income families. The governor responded to Favre's request. Use of these funds is tightly controlled. Any improper use could result in violation of federal law.
We got a tip in that suggested that the director of the Department of Human Services was misdirecting money and potentially involved in an embezzlement scheme.
These are the 4 main players in this scandal that you need to know about. On the far left is former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant. He was the man in charge of the state of Mississippi when all of this went down. They're all caught up in an alleged welfare fraud scheme. Keep in mind, this is the same state that's capital city couldn't even deliver clean drinking water for months to its residents. And it ranks as the poorest state in the country, with nearly 20% of its residents living in poverty.
According to court filings, Favre didn't give up, writing the former governor again about the new volleyball center a few months later, saying, "We obviously need your help big time, and time is working against us." The former governor responded, "But we have to follow the law. I am too old for federal prison."
Okay, so we do have new developments in the Mississippi welfare scandal. However, it is important to note on the prison front, right, that I believe has flown under the radar. In May of 2018, Favre reached out to then Governor Phil Bryant for help constructing lockers for the facility. "I'm still trying to save money on the V-ball facility," Favre texted. He even suggested the prison industry possibly as a builder.
I was thinking about this text message that I sent Brett Favre in early 2020, while I was breaking the stories about his involvement with the pharmaceutical company and also the volleyball stadium. I asked him very simply if he had ever had a conversation with the governor about the volleyball stadium, and he said no. And that's in a text message. I mean, that seems like a pretty simple thing, but that's a pretty big lie.
As Anna uncovered, there was endless communication between Phil Bryant and Brett Favre. Recently, Favre hired Trump lawyer Eric Hirschman. So the first order of business: deny, deny, deny. In a statement to Fox News, Favre and Hirschman wrote, "I have been unjustly smeared in the media. I have done nothing wrong, and it is past time to set the record straight."
Brett Favre asked the head of a nonprofit handling welfare funds, quote, "If you were to pay me, is there any way that the media could find out where it came from and how much?"
They continue with the strongly worded statement, likely written by Hirschman and his team, in an attempt to spin the narrative in favor of his client. But you all come here for us to decipher what is transpiring and see through the BS, and that's what we're going to do. No one ever told me, and I did not know, the funds designated for welfare recipients were going to the university or me. I tried to help my alma mater, USM, a public Mississippi State University, raise funds for a wellness center. My goal was and always will be to improve the athletic facilities at my university.
Nancy News' side put forth text messages between her and Favre that showed them discussing the volleyball stadium. And even at one point, Brett Favre was asking, if USM can't take the money, maybe you can pay me under an advertising contract and then I'll put the money in the volleyball stadium. So you can see kind of the workarounds that they were trying to pull.
In another part of his statement, Favre seems to lay blame at the feet of everyone involved except, of course, himself. We are at the stages of this case where fingers are being pointed in every direction. These are tactical ploys by lawyers in public cases to take the heat off the individual they are representing.
I think he realized that they had to justify what they were doing by saying that they were helping people in poverty, knowing full well that that was not the intent of the project. The project was to build a volleyball stadium at USM.
Just recently, Favre's quack concussion company, Prevacus, which touted a nasal spray that is supposed to reduce harmful swelling and inflammation when used after impact to the head. Bryant agreed to accept stock in the company once he left office. Civil suit defendant Austin Smith, who received nearly $430,000 in welfare contracts, is subpoenaing the Prevacus documents as part of his defense. This is where it could potentially get real ugly for Bryant and company in court. Smith is also subpoenaing Bryant for any of his communication related to several other welfare-related projects or alleged events first reported by Mississippi Today, including a fitness program by trainer Paul Lacoste, a virtual reality academy by Lobacki Inc., advertising campaigns with conservative talk radio station Super Talk and Families First, treatment for Bryant's nephew that the governor and his welfare officials facilitated, and the firing of Debbie Hood, wife of former Democratic candidate for governor Jim Hood. The civil complaint alleges they knew that the money they were seeking for Prevacus was coming from the state's welfare department. It would be yet another fight for Hirschman, Favre, and others. Let me do it one more time. It would be yet another wrinkle for Favre, Hirschman, and others to fight in court to prove Brett Favre had zero knowledge. That is what they are going to try to argue in this case. As of this taping, Favre is yet to conduct an interview and appear on camera, in a phone interview, on the record, to set it straight. He is completely staying away. So really, if you think about it, the only communications we have had is through a lawyer-driven statement. That's it.